Hi everyone. Today we are going to discuss about what do you mean by test case. So we all know this term in our software testing or in our software testing career. Like, can you please write some test case on that module? Can you please write some test case on that functionality? So we all heard this term test case. But today in this video, I am going to discuss about everything. Okay. So now what as we are talking about test case, so first we have to know that what is test case, what is test case. So just I am giving you one very basic example. Okay, suppose i have a I have application. Let's say my application is, let's say, Amazon. Okay, so Amazon. Now in that Amazon application, so whenever we are just we want to try with, I mean, we are just want to log in with that Amazon application. Now for that, what we have to do, we have to put some username, or we have to put some mobile number, then we have to click on the continue button. Okay, just see that example. Okay, just think about. Now what we will do, so for that test case, what is test case? Test case means, we all know that test case. So just see that. So in my previous video, I have already told you guys that suppose this is test scenario. So this is test scenario. This is test scenario, and one test scenario can hold multiple test case. So we have already discussed about that. One test scenario can hold multiple test case. So let's say it's a test case 1, it's a test case 1, it's a test case 2, test case 2, it's a test case 3, test case 3, and it's a test case 4, test case 4. So one scenario can hold multiple test case. So we all know about that, right? Now, so now for that application, suppose what will be the test scenario? The test scenario will be that need to check the sign in button or the continue button or the login button is working perfectly fine or not. So this is one test scenario. So in that test scenario, as I have already told you that one test scenario can hold multiple test case. So for test case, we can tell like that, enter correct email ID and clicking on continue button. We have to check that after putting the correct email ID, some new page will appearing or not, right? So this is one test case. Now second test case may be like that, enter wrong username and then clicking on continue button. In third test case, enter a space on that email ID and clicking on continue button. So like that, lots of test case we can write. So now in our testing term, what is test case? So now the example is very simple, very clear, right guys? So now what do you mean by test case? So a test case is a defined format for software testing that is required to check if a particular application is working or not, right? Basically, test case consists of a certain set of condition that need to check to test an applications or software. Or that is, in more simple terms, we can say that when the conditions are checked, it checks if the resultant outputs meets with the expected output or not. Okay, so that is test case. So my test case is that enter correct username, then clicking on continue button. So that is one test case. Enter wrong username, clicking on continue button. That is another test case. So that is mean by test case. Also, a test case consists of various parameters such as IDs, conditions, steps, input, expected results, actual results, status, remarks, etc. etc. So the parameter means it's a whenever in which, I mean, whenever I will see, I will show you that what is test case template, or what or how we can write any test case, then we will more talking about this particular topics. Okay, now, so now you guys are very much clear about what do you mean by test case. Now What are the parameter of test case? So as I've already told you that in my test case parameter should be module name, test case ID, tester name, test scenario, test case description, test steps, prerequisite, test priority, test data, expected results, actual results, then environment information, then status, comment, everything. Okay, so in my next video, I will show you that how we can write a test case in software testing or the test case template. So in my next video, I will discuss all about in test case template. Okay, so in this video, just focus on that. So in the next video, it will very easy for you guys. So what parameter we will use for any test case? That is module name, test case ID, tester name, test scenario, test case description, test steps, prerequisite, test priority, test data. Test data may be positive data, negative data, then expected results, then parameter, then actual results, then status, comment, environment, everything. Now, next thing is that when do we write test case? So this is one of the important topic for test case. Like when we go for test case or when we create test case. So three things, three key points we have to remember. That is, one is before development, then after development, and during development. Now I will discuss one by one. So before development means, so suppose customer or client has given some set of requirement. Okay, so whenever the customer has given some set of requirements, then that should came to our end. Okay, now we means as a software tester, so the testing team will check that requirement, and before starting the development, they will write to create, they will write the test cases based on that customer requirement. So that is the before development. So test case could be written before the actual coding, as that would help to identify the requirement of the product and carry out the test later when the product once gets developed. That is before development. Now after development, so after development means the test case are also written directly after coming with a product or software or after developing the feature, but before the launching of a product, as needed to test the working of the particular feature. Means, so whenever the customer has given some set of requirement, then the development team has followed the requirement and they have developed one software. Okay, now what will do the testing team? Then whenever the development has been done, then the testing team can write the test case based upon that how the software is worked or how the software is working. So based on that, they can tally both the customer requirement and they can tally both the testing team can tally with the customer requirements to the developed software. So they can tally. So after tally or after verify, after comparing, the testing team can write the test case. But we have to remember that before deployment, we have to complete the test case. Okay, so that is the after development. And one is that the next one is that during development. So test case are sometime written during the development time parallelly. So whenever a part of module gets developed, it gets tested as well. Suppose the development team has developed some module. So after develop the module, the testing team will write the test case. So during the development time, so then what will happen? So the testing team can write the test case as well as they can test in the site. So that will parallelly happen. So test case writing and the software testing, two things will be parallelly happening. So that is the during development. So when do we write the test case? Before development, after development, and during development. Now coming to the next point is that why we write the test case. Why we write the test case. This is also one important topic, that why we write the test case. First, test case helps to check if a particular module or particular software is meeting the specified requirement or not. Okay, because we write the test case based upon the client requirement. So whatever the client requirement has, first we will study the requirement very carefully, then we will write the test case. So test case will help to check a particular module is meeting the specified requirement or not. Now, number two, test case determine if a particular module work with a given set of condition. Maybe the customer has given set of conditions. So whenever we add the test case based upon that client requirement or customer requirement, we can meet that given set of condition. Okay. Now number three, the test case helps to narrow down the software needs and required updates. Then test cases are easy, simple and clear, as they are step by step and well documented. Okay. Now also test cases are detailed, which makes them helpful during the maintenance phase. So after the software development, has been done, the testing has been done, then obviously we will deploy the software to the live environment. So whenever we will deploy the software to the live environment, then the phase will be the maintenance phase, as we all know that. Okay. So as we are writing the test case, so obviously the test case, whenever we are writing the test case, we will follow the client requirements. So as per the client requirements, we will write the test case. So in the maintenance phase, it will be very helpful to us. Okay. So these are the few points that are needed, that why we write test case. Now, next point is that test case template. So test case template, in my next video I will see you that what is the test case template, or how we can write the test case, because it is a very lengthy. If I complete that test case template in this video, then the video will be very lengthy. Okay, so in my next video I will discuss about this, the test case template. Very easy, no worry. Now next point is that we have to follow some tips. Okay, we have to follow some tips to write the best test case. Like the test case, obviously the test case will be very simple and clear. Okay, and it should be very understandable. So if anyone can see the test case, and he can easily understand that what actually the client requirement. Then maintain the uniqueness, then zero assumptions, then traceability, then different input data. So these are all for the tips of writing test case. So it will be very clear. So this point will be very clear whenever we will write some test case. So in my next video, I will write the test case. How to write the test case, I will show you. Okay. Then strong module name. Also module name will be discussed. I will be discussing next videos. Minimal description, maximum condition, meeting requirement, repetitive results, different techniques. So all these things will be follow whenever we are writing the test case. So these are the best practice for writing test case. Okay. Now test management tool. So few tools are available in the market that we can easily manage our test case. That is EduPaat. So we can write it here. That is EduPaat. Then TestRail. Then we have Test Case Lab. Okay. Then we have something Test Lodge. Okay. So etc. So lots of tools are there. That is the test case management tool. So maybe I will be make one video for TestRail. So in the TestRail, how we can manage our test case. So In my upcoming video, I will show you using test drill. Don't worry. Now, next point is that we have to know that what do you mean by formal test case and what do you mean by informal test case. Okay, formal test case means which test case. Formal test cases are the test case that follows the basic test case format. So basic test case format means, so these format. So these are the parameters. These are the format: module name, test case ID, tester name. So if we follow that, then it will be under formal test case. So formal test case follows the basic test case format. So it contains the test case parameters such as condition, ID, module name, okay, expected results, actual results, etc., etc. So these are the formal test case. So formal test case means which follows the basic test case format. So basic test case format means we have to follow the ID, test case description, module name, then expected results, actual results, test scenario, everything. So these are formal test case. And informal test case, so name says that we don't follow the basic test case format. Whenever we are not following the basic test case format, then it comes under informal test case. So in this, as the tests are performed, the test case are written in real time, then pre-writing them, and the input and expected results are not predefined as well. So these are the informal test case. So formal test case means whenever we are following the basic test case format, then it comes under formal test case. And informal test case means whenever we are not following the basic test case format, whenever we are writing the test case, that is comes under informal test case. Okay, now next point is the types of test case. So few types we have for test case, that is functionality test case. I can write it here. That is functionality test case. Then we have unit. Then we have unit test case. Then we have user interface test case or UI test case. Then we have integration test case. Integration test case. Then we have security test case. Security test case. Then we have database test case. Database test case. Then we have acceptance test case, etc. So these are the types of test case, like functionality test case. So whenever we are writing the test case, that if it under any functionality, so if we are writing any test case based upon the functionality, then it goes under functionality test case. Then unit test case. In unit test case is where the individual part or a single unit of the software is tested, where each unit or individual part is tested, and we create a different test case for each of them. Then we can say it's a unit test case. Then UI test case or user interface test case, like suppose we are writing the test case based upon that UI, then it comes under user interface test case. Then integration test case, security test case, so database test case. If we are writing any test case based upon database, okay, then it comes under database test case. So these are the different types of test case we have: functionality test case, unit test case, UI test case, integration test case, database test case, acceptance test case, security test case, so etc. These are the different types of test case. Okay, now, so example, I have already told you that what is the a best example for test case. So test case means, so one test scenario can hold multiple test case. So that it maybe, let's the test scenario is login button is working or not. So this is the test scenario. So test case. So first test case may be enter correct username, correct password, then click on login button. Enter wrong username, wrong password, then click on login button. Enter correct username, wrong password, then click on login button. Enter wrong username, correct password, then click on login button. So lots of test cases are there. So These are the example of test case. So a test scenario can hold multiple test case. Okay. So now you guys are very much clear about what is test case and why we write test case, when we write test case, what do you mean by formal test case, what do you mean by informal test case, what are the different types of test case we have. Okay. So in my next videos, I will discuss with you like how to write test case or the test case template. Like these are the parameters. So how we can use that parameter in our test case template. Okay, but make sure as a tester, everything we have to write the test case. Okay, so test case is the, we can say that it's the heart of our testing. Whenever we are whenever we are testing any application, obviously we have to write the test case. Okay, so that's all for today's. So I think this video will be very helpful to you. If you guys have any doubt, please comment me. If you guys like my video, share these videos to your nearest friends and subscribe to my channel EduPaat and stay with me. So see you in the next videos with the test case template. Thank you.